We are back with Ronald E, the American officer who is passing to Tîrgu-Mureș. Ron, we're good friends and we always stay and talk about the world today. And your vision about the world is pretty cool. And it's very rare to find somebody who's got such a good, healthy vision about what happens today and what's going to happen in the future. So tell me some things about some values you think are good in these days, you know, to keep a peaceful place, let's say like that, the world.
And my vision for the world would be that we grow thicker skin, I guess would be the easiest way to put it. Part of the problem with the factional groups is they're way too laser focused on their own selfish wants. And by that I mean women's rights, they're only about women. Black rights, they're only about blacks. You know, any other group that all these factions, one across the board, there's no sense of community anymore. And in the United States, just 50, 60, 70 years ago, that wasn't the case. You know, people came together, and I find it so hard to comprehend that just, 60 years ago, John F. Kennedy, a Democrat, was president. And his words to the American people were, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Today, the Democratic Party would not only not accept John Kennedy, they would literally think he's a Nazi. They would label him an extremist. He would be a right-wing lunatic. And I look back and when you look at pictures of Eisenhower and Kennedy, when the presidency was transferred, they smiled and shook each other's hand and the torch was passed. And Kennedy's ideas, and I'm no big fan of Kennedy. I'm a Reagan man. I mean, I grew up during the Reagan years. I joined the military during the Reagan years. I'll be a Reagan...
all your life.
I'll be a Reagan fan forever. But the way that the Democrat Party and the way that the left wing has just gone so far off the charts, even Democrats from a couple generations ago would be looked at as right-wing extremists. And I find that so puzzling. And one of the things I would just love to see is the conservative, traditional values put back in schools, put back in government, and promoted in society. All these factional infighting groups, and I'll just come out and say it. I really think the most discriminated against people nowadays are white, male, Christian, and heterosexual. Because we have no group. Everyone else has a little group that they can say, we belong to this. There's no sense of togetherness whatsoever. And so, go back, start over, and get rid of your self-interest, your self-absorbed, selfish interests just to get ahead for you.
What do you predict for the 2024 elections in the US?
It's hard to say. I do believe that Donald Trump did a very good job as president. He had the United States energy independent for the first time in 75 years. something they can't say today. I believe his tax plan actually helped the people it was supposed to help. I speak with people all the time that are middle income that benefited from the tax program. I just don't believe that Trump is the person to carry on into the next stage. It should be someone who's a little younger.
Like DeSantis?
I believe that if Ron, I agree with Elon Musk on that particular issue, that if Ron DeSantis were to run for president, I think he'd do a fantastic job. I think he would put the United States first. I think he would put traditional values, traditional family, and that's one of the things that makes him so popular as a Florida governor, is that he believes in parental rights. You know, these are not kids of the U.S. government. These are children of parents. And I think DeSantis would be a fantastic president. No, not taking anything away from President Trump. He served a fantastic purpose, and he blazed a trail that no one thought he could. But I really think it's time to pass the torch on and let someone with a little more youth behind them carry on.
I mean, DeSantis did a good job in the COVID time in Florida, yes?
Absolutely. I haven't been to Florida in decades, but I've read that Florida businesses did very well during the non-lockdown periods that Ron DeSantis was governor, as compared to California, compared to New York, Michigan, that had draconian lockdown measures.
Yes. What do you think about Europe? How do you see the future of Europe with what happened today?
My opinion of Europe is that there's way too many chefs and not enough customers. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. The powers in Brussels seem to want to usurp every last ounce of independence from the European nation states. And it's sad, because when I read that, I believe it was the vice president of the European Parliament said that she wanted to financially starve Hungary and Poland for their constitutions. That was a wow moment for me. Like, how could you even come out and how could you even say that? You want to financially starve a country for what their people pass as a constitution? That was...
But European community did some good things as well. Like, you can travel now, you can get a job in Madrid, like you get one in Bucharest. You can get a job in, let's say, in Amsterdam, like you get here. Some people think it's a good thing. I mean, yeah, Europe of nations is good, but at the same time, some kind of good, easy agreement between countries is good, yes?
I'm not a big fan of centralized government.
Okay.
I really think that centralized government only promotes abuse and usurping power. It's what's happening in the U.S. today. The federal government is taking more and more and more away from the states, and the European Union is taking more and more and more away from independent nations. Centralized government should be a place of last resort. You know, they should only be dealing with, and it's in the enumerated powers in the Constitution of the United States, and they're violating it every day. And the European Union, the EU, is doing the same thing. You know, when you have a high-level official saying that they want to financially starve nations for the constitutions that the people of those nations voted for, that's dangerous, in my opinion. That's extremely dangerous.
Well, I want to ask you, Ron, how do you see the future of Romania? Now you live in Romania. How do you see the waters, let's say, over here?
I'm hoping that Romania remains a very rooted, traditional place because there's too much beauty here, there's too much peace here, and I would hate to see it destroyed by the mentality of, for lack of a better term, the left. And I would like to say, and this is difficult for me to say because for me to say it, I have to admit certain things.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of the American culture taken out of Romania. The fast food, the consumerism, I think it just takes away from the charm and what Romania has to offer. We came here for a simpler, more rooted communal life, and Romania has taken way too many things from the West.
But some things Romania took from the U.S. and from the West are good. Some of them, yeah.
Oh, that's true with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking specifically about
Yeah.
things like the fast food. It's terrible, and I've had traditional Romanian cooking. It's fantastic, but I've never been anywhere in my life that has more pizza places than Brasov. I've never seen that many pizza places.
It should be more Romanian restaurants.
I think it should be more people eating at their tables,
Or Hungarian
getting
restaurants.
cooked, having food cooked at home, and less of the fast food, the grease, the unhealthy food that's causing the obesity problem in the United States. And I mean, in 20 years, all these kids that are growing up on McDonald's and Pizza Hut and KFC, can I even say those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have a Romanian obesity problem.
Okay, Ron, now in the end of a great talk and a great conversation about things, there's a camera over there, and if you have a message to Romanians, to Americans, they live in Romania, to Romanians around the world, or to Americans, because this interview is going to go to the States as well, what message will be that from an ex-American officer to the world?
To the world. Just be yourselves, keep your faith, and live true to yourself. If you have to stand alone to be right, stand alone, because it's the best way to be. As long as you're right, as long as you do the right thing, there's nothing that can harm you.
Ron, it was a pleasure to have you at this show, and it was an honor to have a great American coming to Tîrgu-Mureș and to live in Romania as well. Your message to the world is great, and you're so sincere and cool. And I hope I'll see you soon in a show somewhere. Maybe you're gonna come back, and I wish you and your family all the good things in the world.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me. Been looking forward to this.
Thank you very much, Ron. All right, ladies and gents, so we'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you.